So welcome to the presentation of MGM 3113 movie review. The movie we choose is 12 Angry Men. And this is our group members. My name is Tim Burton and my metric number is 226665.
My name is Zhang Jiashu. My metric number is 227172.
My name is Du Zhenxing. Metric number is 226678.
My name is Gu Chui and my metric number is 226719.
My name is Gao Yi. My metric number is 226704.
Let's begin with the first part, the brief summary of 12 Angry Men.
Hello everyone. Today I'd like to share a summary of the movie 12 Angry Men and how it concerns to important concepts in organizational behavior. The movie takes place on a hot summer day in a New York City jury deliberation room. 12 male jurors are brought together to reach a unanimous verdict in a murder case. The case involves a teenager boy who is accused of killing his father. If found guilty, the boy faces the death penalty. At first glance, all the evidence seems to point clearly to his guilty. The witnesses, the murder weapon, and the motive. As a result, 11 juries are ready to declare him guilty without much discussion. Only jury number 8 was not guilty. Now, what's interesting is that jury number 8 doesn't say the boy is innocent. Instead, he simply argues that there is a reasonable doubt and that such a serious decision, a matter of life and death, shouldn't be made too quickly. This sparks a long, tense, and emotional group discussion among the juries as the conversation progresses. Jury number 8 begins to point out gaps in the evidence. One witness may have had serious vision problems and couldn't have seen the crime clearly. Another witness's timeline doesn't make sense. It's unlikely he could have reached the door in the time he claimed. The knife used in the murder was not as unique as the original thought. It was actually easy to purchase. The motive of the boy was questionable and based on assumptions. And most importantly, one jury's judgment was heavily influenced by his own personal issues with his son, a clear example of personal bias. Gradually, the other jurors began to see things differently, thought careful questioning, logical reasoning, and calm persistence. Jury number 8 helps them move from emotion-based judgment to more thoughtful, evidence-based decision. One by one, the votes shift, and eventually, the group reached a unanimous not guilty verdict. This movie presents key theories in organizational behavior regarding group decision making, leadership, influence, conflict, bias, and group dynamics. It reviews the difficult but necessary process of overcoming groupthink and achieving effective group decision making. Through the interaction among the juries in the jury, the core themes of organizational behavior are demonstrated. How groups overcome biases and individual differences through leadership conflicts, resolution, and rational discussion to achieve effective decisions. These issues are applicable not only to juries, but also to enterprise teams, management meetings, and any setting requiring global group cooperation. At the same time, this movie also reveals the core phenomena in organizational behavior. Groups are prone to fall into groupthink under pressure and biases, but this can be broken through minority influence and open dialogue.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Today I will talk about the movie 12 Angry Men and the two core issues it raised about group decision making. This film set in a jury where 12 men decide a teenager's fate show us how groups can fail and how they can succeed. These lessons connected directly to the organizational behavior and matter in our everyday life. The first core issue is how unfairness creeps into group decisions. The movie shows this through power imbalances, unconscious biases, and a broken system. At the start, 11 jurors vote guilty without much thought, pressuring the one juror who disagrees, juror number 8, to go along. This group pressure is a powerful imbalance. The majority can silence the minority. Then biases make it worse. Juror number 4 judges the teenager based on his poor background, with juror number 3 lets angry from his own life cloud his thinking. This personal prejudice stops them from seeing the facts. On top of that, the jury process has no clear rules to check evidence properly. For example, no one questions if a witness with bad eyesight could really see the crime. Together, these problems, group pressure, biases, and weak systems lead to unfair decisions that could ruin someone's life. The second core issue is how one person's thoughtful actions can fix these flaws. Jury number 8 steps with critical thinking and leadership. He doesn't just argue, he shows proof, like buying a knife to prove it's not unique or testing how long a witness could take to work. These actions make others rethinking their quick judgments. He also changed how the group works by suggesting secret votes, which reduce pressure and let people think for themselves. Through calm and clear communication, he helps quieter juries like jury number 9 speaks up with key ideas like noticing a witness might wear glasses. By doing this, jury number 8 turns a rushed biases group into one that seeks the truth. Why do these issues matter? They're not just about a jury, they're about any group, like teams at work or school. In organizations, people often face or pressure to agree, carry hidden biases, or follow sloppy process. If no one challenges these, decisions can be unfair or wrong. Think of a team picking a bad project because no one questions the boss. The movie shows that one person can make a difference, but it also hints we shouldn't rely on lucky or find a hero like juror number 8. Instead, we need better systems to encourage fair thinking everywhere. In conclusion, 12 Angry Men teaches us that group decisions can fail when power biases and poor rules take over, but one person's effort can turn things around. These lessons push us to watch for unfairness in our own groups and act to fix it. Whether in a jury room or a meeting, fairness matters, and we all play a part in making that happen. Thank you. And then let's move on to the next part, key lesson learned regarding the 3 OB topics.
Okay, so I will discuss how personality and individual differences influence workplace behavior. Sorry, next part, next page. Okay, so personality is an individual's unique patterns of thinking, emotions, and behaviors, which shape our attitudes and professional performance. Okay, next page. So, for example, juror number 8 demonstrates high openness. He questioned existing conclusions and proposals. Reasonable doubts, reflecting innovative thinking in contracts. Juror number 3 score high in neuroticism, showing emotional instability and over-replying on personal bias. Force conflicts with your children on them. Okay, next page. So, so individual differences include stable variation in values, motivation, and behaviors. There are two key of individual differences: theory of situation and interaction. Next page. Such as juror number 10's racial superiority complex. Meanwhile, juror number 11 upholds the rule of law, fulfill civic duties, and seeks factual justice. Understanding these differences help team collaborate effectively and resolve conflicts. Whether it's being openness or emotional regulation, both are crucial of success of teamwork. So that's all of me.
Hello everyone, I'm going to talk about leadership in the field. Next page. Let's begin with a basic definition of leadership from OB. Leadership is the ability to influence and guide a group toward achieving a shared goal or vision. Many people assume leadership comes from holding a title or being in charge. However, OB tells us that influence can arise from anywhere, even without a formal position. In this film, we focus on three types of leadership: non-section leadership, transformational leadership, and effective leadership. Next page. Non-section leadership refers to informal influence. When someone comes a leader without any official title or assigned authority, this is exactly what happened in 12 Angry Men. Juror number 8 has no role, no rank, and no special authority, but through his action, he becomes the most respected and influential authority. But through his actions, he becomes the most but through his actions, he becomes the most respected and influential voice in the room. He earns the status by dominating others by showing integrity, asking thoughtful questions, and listening carefully. This matches trait theory, which says leadership can emerge based on personal traits, important traits including emotional intelligence and extraversion. Juror number 8 also shows several key aspects of transformational leadership. Transformational leadership do not just manage, they also inspire. They help others rise above their own thoughts, assumptions, and fears. Let's look at three key dimensions of transformational leadership that juror number 8 demonstrates. First, he shows idealized influence by standing up for justice and acting ethically. Second, he used intellectual stimulation by encouraging others to think independently about the evidence instead of following blindly. For example, he replies the Times quotes of the witness's action, questioning the veracity of the testimony. He also observed the female witness may have worn glasses, raising questions about the accuracy of the witness. Third, he shows individualized consideration. He listens calmly to jury with opposite views and encourages rational discussion. Because of this leadership style, the group moves from bias and conflict to evidence-based discussion making. This film also constructs effective and ineffective leadership styles and shows us that not all influence is leadership. Juror number 3 tries to dominate others by aggression and emotional outrust. Juror number 10 uses bias and judging the boy not based on facts but on stereotypes. However, neither of them becomes the trusted leader. According to OB, effective leadership requires not only decisiveness but also effective intent and emotional regulation. Juror number 8 succeeds because he is claim fair, not because he is loud or forceful. In conclusion, 12 Angry Men give us a powerful example of how leadership can emerge in informal settings. Juror number 8 demonstrates both trait-based and transformational leadership. His reason and moral courage transformed the group and the outcome. These lessons not only useful in organization, but in any groups that requires judgment and collaboration. Okay, next person.
Then, I want to discuss how perception and individual decision making shape outcomes in high pressure group setting in film 12 Angry Men. Next page. In organizational behavior, perception is a process through which people interpret and make sense for their environment. It's not just about what we see or hear. It's about how we interpret those things based on personal experiences, values, and emotions. In the film, several jurors make decisions not based on fact, but on deeply rooted assumptions. For example, juror number 10 shows strong prejudice, believes that people from poor neighborhoods are naturally violent. His judgment is clouded by stereotyping, a common perceptual error, which prevents him from seeing the situations objectively. Next page. This is a reminder that when we allow our personal biases to guide us, we might ignore important evidence and make unfair conclusions. In contrast, juror number 8 takes a different path. He doesn't say the boy is innocent, but he believes the case deserves carefully discussion. His vote for no guilt is based on reason, not emotion. He brings up inconsistencies in testimonials, questions the timeline for evidence, and challenges the physical evidence. One powerful moment is when he reenacts the steps an old witness had to take in 15 seconds. His experiment shows that the witness might have not seen or heard that he claimed. Next page. Juror number 8's action reflects a more rational decision-making process. He used logical observation and questions to spirit facts in the assumption. This kind of critical thinking gradually influenced others to do the same. The film also shows how biases like confirmation biases affect judgment. Several jurors focus only on details that support the boy's guilt, ignore facts that may suggest otherwise. It's not until they are challenged directly that they begin to reassess the situation. Another common mistake shown is attribution error, judging people behavior as a result of their personality rather than considering external circumstances. Some jurors blame the boy's behavior on his character, ignoring that he growing up in a violent environment and with little support. By focusing on internal flaws rather than external pressure, they make unfair and overly simple judgments. As the discussion unfolded, the jurors began to open their minds. Juror number 9, for instance, noticed that a key witness had marks on her nose, implying she wearing glasses since she wasn't wearing their glasses during the crime. Her ability to say clearly is questionable. This small but important detail might have had been overlooked if no one had taken the time to observe and thinking critically. Next page. These films serve as a profound exploration of how perception and decision making influence group dynamics, particularly in high pressure environments. This narrows resonates beyond the courtroom, offering lessons for organizational behavior. It emphasizes the need to recognize biases, seek evidence, and foster inclusive discussions to make fair decisions. The film reminds us that overcoming perceptual barriers is essential for the ethic and effectively judgment in any context. That's all from me.
Then let's move on to the final part, individual reflections, the best takeaway from MGM 3113 for our future. I will share mine at first, based on 12 Angry Men and what we discussed in class. The movie showed that how group decisions can fail when people feel pressured, act on biases, or don't follow clear rules. But it also showed how one person can change things by thinking carefully and pushing for fairness. My biggest lesson is that good decisions take effort, and I want to use that in my future. The jurors in the movie almost made a huge mistake because they didn't look at the facts. They let emotions or the group's rush take over. I've seen this in my own life and like in group projects where we agree too fast just to get done. For my future, I want to be the one who slows things down and asks questions. Whether it is at work or with friends, I will make sure we think things through. We don't mess up. But it also made me think that we can't always wait for a hero like Juror number 8. He was brave, but real life doesn't always work like that way. So my best takeaway is to build better ways of working together. If I lead a team someday, I will set up simple rules like letting everyone talk or voting secretly to make fairness easier. That way, good decisions don't depend on just one person. In short, it taught me to set up for fairness and plan ahead to help groups succeed. That is what I will take into my future. Thank you.
Okay, for me, one of the best takeaways I got from studying organizational behavior is how group decision making and group dynamics really shape the way teams perform. Before, I thought decision making in groups was simple. You vote, you agree, and you move on. But now I understand it's much deeper than that. People bring different experience, emotions, and even biases into group discussions. Sometimes strong personalities take over, or people stay quiet just to avoid conflict. That's where groupthink happens, and it can lead to bad decisions. Learning about group decision making and group dynamics helped me see how important it is to create a space where everyone feels safe to speak up. A good team doesn't mean everyone agrees. It means people listen, challenge each other, respectfully and group and work through disagreements. In the future, I want to be someone who helps guide thoughtful group decisions, not by controlling the discussion, but by encouraging open dialogue, asking questions, and making sure no voice is left out. Organizational behavior reminded me that great teams don't just happen. They are built through trust, communication, and shared purpose. That's all for me.
I would like to share something meaningful I learned from this OB course. This course helped me see that working in organization is not just about tasks or rules, but mostly about people. Among all the topics we studied, I think the most important one for me is emotional intelligence. Before I thought emotions were something I should hide in professional settings, but now I understand that emotions are everywhere, and if we don't manage them well, they can affect our performance, relationships, and even discussion making. I learned that emotional intelligence means being aware of our own feelings, understanding how others feel, and responding in a smart and respectful way. This is very important in teamwork. For example, when team members have different opinions, high emotional intelligence can help us stay calm, listen better, and solve problems together. It is also useful in leadership. A good leader is not only someone who gives instructions, but someone who knows how to inspire and support others. Emotional intelligence helps leaders build trust and improve communication with the team. After learning this, I started to reflect on my own behavior. Sometimes I just react emotionally without thinking. Now I try to pause and ask myself, why do I feel like this way? Can I respond better? In future, I want to develop my emotional intelligence step by step because I believe this will help me to become a better teammate, a better friend, and maybe one day a better leader. It's all for me.
Okay, as for me, I'm deeply aware that excellent team management must be based on a full understanding and respect for the individual differences of members. First, we need to access each member's personality traits, professional abilities, and thinking partners. Secondly, in task allocation, we should give full play to our strengths and avoid our weakness. Let members with high openness be responsible for innovative thinking. So, as for establish an effective conflict prevention mechanism, the most important thing is to foster an inclusive and open team culture. Just like juror number 8 in the movie finally win sport and turn different voice into collective wisdom. Through scientific management methods, individual difference can be transformed into team advantages. So as for improving the overall decision making quality efficiency. So that's all of me.
For me, I think the play 12 Angry Men teaches us that critical thinking, empathy, and courage are essential, not only in the jury room, but every day in our life. It shows how biases can cloud judgment and how one voice, if brave enough, can make a difference. The story reminds us to stand up for justice, even when it's unpopular, and to carefully listen before making decisions. These lessons apply far beyond the courtroom. They help us become more responsible citizens, better listeners, and more thoughtful individuals in our communities and workplace. In the future, I want to become someone who makes fair and thoughtful decisions by challenging assumption, recognizing bias, and encourage open, evidence-based discussions in any group I am part of. That's all from me.
And that is the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.